Hi everyone! So today we're going to be making coils into a bowl shape. And I don't have my example, but trust me, it's going to come out really cool. So what you need is some kind of bowl. Not too big. You need a plastic bag and some kind of clay. I'm going to use Model Magic today, but you can use air dry clay, you can use Play-Doh, anything will work. You need to cover the bowl with the plastic. If you don't have a plastic bag, you can definitely use just plain old plastic wrap. That definitely works. Just make sure the bag is big enough for the bowl to put in. You definitely need the plastic. I've done it without the plastic before, and the clay sticks to the bowl, and then it won't pop out. And it all cracks, and it's really annoying. You can cut this part off also if you want. You can tape the sides down. I'm going to leave it just like this. It's perfectly fine. You can leave your clay white or you can color it. You can get colored clay. Again, whatever you have, whatever kind of clay will totally work. If you forget how to color it, I'll show you. I take a color, and I'm going to take like a meatball size at a time. I'm going to take my marker and poke, smush. And remember, you can do more than one color. You can do multiple colors. Poke. The more you poke, the darker the color will be. Remember, white plus a color makes a color lighter. So this isn't going to be dark purple. Black won't turn black. It'll turn a bluish grayish. Red won't turn pink. It'll turn like a light reddish. So just keep that in mind. Alright, it's starting to turn purple. I could do more. I could mix some blue in there, but you know what? Just to save some time, I'm just going to do it white. So here's what I'm going to do. The first thing that I need is I need to turn this into a coil. So if I make it into a meatball, roll it in between my hands into a hot dog, and then I'm going to roll it so it's a longer skinny hot dog. And then I'm going to make it into a snail. So I take one end, I kind of fold it in on itself so it looks like a fish hook. And then I swirl it around and around and around and around and around and around. Give it a little pat. So this is going to go right in the bottom. And now I'm going to make a whole bunch more. They don't have to be the same sizes at all. And I'm going to start putting them around the sides and around the top. I'm going to leave mine white just to save some time, but remember, yours can be any colors you want. I'm going to take a meatball. I'm going to make a meatball, roll it in between my hands so it's like a hot dog, and then roll it so it's like a long skinny hot dog. And you'll notice I use both hands and I go back and forth, and then I do this end, I'll do the middle, I'll do the other end, and I keep going. You can even pull it a little bit. I make my fish hook, and then I go round and round and round. Don't worry if some coils, some snail shells are bigger than the others. It's perfectly fine. And then I push it. And I'm starting to go around my edges. So I have my meatball, I roll it in between my hands, and then I'm going to roll it into a longer, skinny hot dog. You can even pull it. If you find ways to cheat to save some time, totally go for it. All about that. Saving some time. And this one goes over here. Don't worry if you have these little holes. Some people like them, some people don't. You can either take a little bit and stick it in there, or you can make little coils and stick it in there. They'll just kind of come out like this. You can even, when the clay pot is dry, you could even fill in those holes if you wanted to. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do the rest of mine. I'm going to pause the video. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so as I'm doing it, I ended up with this one little piece right here. You can either pull them so they meet each other, or you can kind of smush them together more this way and fit another one in there. I'm going to fit another one in there just for fun. So I want this one to be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to take a smaller meatball and I'm going to roll it, cheat a little bit like this, and just smush it in there. And you really push them together, make sure that they overlap, push them against the sides. This way you know that they're sticking together. And again, don't take it out because it'll flop. I'm going to take it out to show you. Just leave yours in there. but it's looking pretty good. I do have some holes, but you know what? I'm going to leave them. You can definitely fill them in. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a top for it. There's so many different ways. Well, not a top, just like the edges over here. There's so many different ways to do this. You can make other coils and stick them on there. Snail shell coils. I'm actually going to take this long coil and add it along the top like this, and I'm going to keep going. I'm just making long skinny coils. I'm not turning them into my snail shells. So what I'm doing is I'm making my meatball, and I'm rolling it and pulling it until I get a long kind of snake, and then I'm just going to put it on there and push it down. I'm pushing it down so it goes out. It's kind of like, I guess, the lip of the pot, like how this bowl has a little lip on it. It just makes it look really nice and finished. So the other thing I noticed is I have a big hole kind of right here. So I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to roll it into like a really small snake, kind of stick it in there. And see how there's a gap right here? I'm going to kind of just make sure they're pushed together. Sometimes when working with Model Magic, a little bit of water will help if the Model Magic itself isn't as sticky. Alright. And I can keep going, but I kind of like it. So I'm going to pop mine out to show you. Leave yours in there. Trust me, let it dry for at least an hour or so before you pop it out and look at it. Because you'll notice it's already like sticking if it doesn't fall apart. So it looks like this. I did mine super quickly. You can take your time. If you don't want to turn it colors, what you can definitely do is you can make it if it's all white, and you can paint it with watercolor paint or some other kind of paint. Also, if you're using air dry clay, you can let it dry and paint it with any kind of paint you want, and then I would recommend, I guess, acrylic, and then seal it with a clear sealer. Alright, I'm going to put mine in the sun and let it dry for a couple minutes. I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. Okay, so again, I'm super impatient, and it's not really that dry, but you can kind of see it. It took the shape, and now I can either leave it or I can paint it. So definitely send me pictures of what you make, and if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I do, and I'll see you later.